Who else is really here? There's no other vegan athletes as great as me. Little bit arrogant, don't you think? Here's that problematic ego creeping in. If you want to optimise your health or sports performance without harming animals or the environment, hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon to be notified of new uploads. When I asked Tim in the comment section of his disappointed video why he didn't follow up on his gut health tests from Goji Man, this was his response. The gut issues were only some issues of dozens of issues and ailments I was experiencing with declining health. Cheers. Not only did that answer seem mental, coming from someone who says that they want to heal themselves, but then shortly after he brought out a whole video detailing a list of reasons why he didn't follow up on the tests. Each one more incoherent than the last. Now, I'd rather not have to make this video, but if Tim's ego is such that it compels him to throw veganism under the bus, potentially signing the death warrant for thousands of animals, then I'm going to stand up and speak.
It's been very good the last year or so, spending time in nature, in the garden. I spent a lot of time in nature for years, but actually in the garden as well, getting to see that side of things, how plants and vegetables grow and the relationship, how much goes into it, and the relationship between everything in nature, how it all feeds each other, is fascinating to get involved with and learn.
Will you get involved with and learn how we put day-old male chicks in a macerator and mince them alive so that you can have eggs? Will you watch the fish being pulled from the ocean, thrashing for their lives on the deck of a boat, slightly suffocating? Would you be the one to spill their guts with a blade?
When Goji Man first got in touch with me, I thought, yeah, cool, man, like, let's try this. Let's try this approach. Did the tests, pooed in a tray, did 2 poos in a tray, did every 20 minutes for like 3 hours, did some breath tests, sent them all off to Goji Man, waited for the results. A few weeks later, he calls me up, got some results, got some answers. You don't have SIBO, you've got these other issues, these oxalates, and all this stuff. I thought, okay, cool.
I recently did the same thing. Now, I do have SIBO. I also have a mild oxalate issue, which Goji Man says will likely clear itself up once we've treated the SIBO, which takes about 6 to 8 weeks.
And he asked me if he could make a video with the results, and I thought he just meant sort of a video with results. I didn't know it would be like publishing Tim Sheath results.
If someone asked me if they could make a video of my results, I'd be pretty confident that they were going to talk about my results.
And literally an hour later, videos up on his channel, what Tim Sheath's results, I thought it just felt a bit personal.
From my perspective, speaking of the particular strains of bacteria that someone has in their intestines isn't half as personal as talking about one's ejaculatory habits or the fact that they drink their own urine.
Like it just felt, and this isn't necessarily to say this is the case.
It isn't.
But it just felt like it wasn't about me, it wasn't about helping me heal, it was about being the one to help me heal and to uphold healing within veganism.
From my perspective, Goji Man is one of the very least egocentric people I've ever had the pleasure to meet. I think that the problem here is one of projection, and I think that Tim's ego needs him to be the one to heal himself. And I thought you were the vegan prince, Tim. Surely you wanted to uphold healing inside of veganism too. Of course, we wouldn't want animals to die unnecessarily when other avenues are there to be explored.
And truthfully, I'd moved on. I felt I had my answer. At that point, after weeks of waiting, weeks to take the tests, weeks later, I had my answer. I had found what was healing me.
Tim, dead animal flesh is not going to heal you. Your tests showed that you had a bacterial infection and massive amounts of inflammation in your intestinal tract. You do realise that animal products are pro-inflammatory, right? They won't clear the bacterial infection either.
And if you look at the oxalates, very hard to be low oxalate within veganism.
No, it's not. You just cut down on things like spinach and chard. Besides, it wasn't exactly forever now, was it?
He will be reducing the oxalates in his diet for a period of 7 to 10 days.
But it was veganism itself that was my issue. That those boundaries.
No, it wasn't. Here's a recap of the actual problems.
We can see that he has a number of bacterial and yeast problems. Next we come down to the neurotransmitter section. Now this is what you expect to find with people with certain types of gut issues. So the fibre that you eat gets turned into short chain fatty acids.
Fibre is not found in animal flesh, ovulations or secretions.
Of most concern on Tim's stool test results are his secretory IgA levels. Now the reference range is 51 to 204 milligrams per decilitre. Tim's levels are 545. Now high levels of secretory IgA points to an inflamed gut or to an acute immune response to some sort of ongoing infection or intestinal barrier dysfunction, also known as leaky gut. Tim's last test is his small intestinal bacterial overgrowth test, and for this he got a negative result. Now this is very good news, because if you do have a bad case of methane dominant SIBO, then it would be a more challenging issue for Tim to resolve.
So luckily this should all be pretty easy to put right.
As if any of you have followed my channel, you know I advise you, but you can do whatever you want, but this is how I live. I look to people who are healthy, who are healed, for the ones to give advice.
And how has that served you to date?
It's not about PhD piece of paper from studies that you've read and been able to recite in a test. It's about you, the individual. How's your health? How's your body?
Do you not know that due to medical negligence, Goji Man was on death's door? Can you not see how far he's come? I'll put my faith in someone who's actually doing it versus someone who merely looks good on the outside. After all, Tim, despite your plethora of ailments, you looked pretty good a few short months ago on Ninja Warrior.
Yes, great. I'm glad Goji Man's feeling healthy, run a vegan diet, and he's doing better than he was before. But he's not someone I look to that has, this guy's got the answers.
Why the did you waste everyone's money on the test then?
As well as, he's just another scapegoat.
What?
And I really mean, don't disrespect to Goji Man, because he has got the best intentions and he is putting in the work and researching and trying to help people.
That's weird. A moment ago you said he was self-serving.
But he's trying to solve it all within a limited spectrum, which might not be possible for everyone. It might not be possible for everyone. So, as I mentioned in the video I just put out on my other channel, someone like Paul Kerton, who's 50 plus years old, super healthy, balanced, strong, physically active, training every day, intelligent individual.
I'll tell you someone else who would fit all those criteria, renowned strength coach Charles Poliquin. He would recommend meat and nuts for breakfast. He would recommend to severely limit carbs, and he would always say how unhealthy veganism is. Do you want to follow in his shoes? He died of a heart attack at age 57. It is not intelligent to eat animals. How have you forgotten that it is the main killer of people living in the Western world?
I've been around the vegan game for years and seen and looked and been on the healing journey for years. I've looked at every avenue within that of people trying to heal.
No, you've blindly tried every fad and whimsical extreme with no rhyme nor reason. Yet once faced with concrete evidence and a plan of action, your ego would not let you do it, and you found it easier to condemn animals to death. You are a science phobe.
With Dr. Morse, it's just another Dr. Morse. Herbs and tinctures, and Dr. Morse doesn't look that healthy himself.
Wait a minute, I thought you've got all his herbs. You keep contradicting yourself. Anyway, the difference between Goji Man and Dr. Morse is that Goji Man runs tests and prescribes things based on actual data.
And yes, they have answers for this, and it's cool, okay. But to me, I need to see someone shining and go, maybe they've got an answer, and if they're not, then I'm trying to solve it myself by doing my own experiments, by trying my own tests on myself until I get the answer.
And how far has that got you? Time for a change of tack?
And we can blame other things and blame genetics.
And veganism.
And look to other people for answers and disempower ourselves completely and go, I've got no clue. Or we can, yes, take advice, research, study, learn, ask people.
But the minute we get an actionable plan, go back to killing animals.
But ultimately, it's up to you. It's up to the individual. It was up to me. to solve it. Not Goji Man, not Dr. Morse.
That's what you decided. Too arrogant to take some help.
I'm doing something that's against my nature if my body's falling out of line. And I felt I found my answer. And I'm grateful for the test and the challenge.
The animals, less so.
And I understand how that looks hypocritical because people say it's selfish. Animals are suffering. Our existence is causing that. Our existence, it's something that we have to face as to be human. It's part of being human is to embrace and accept that.
Oh my God, appeal to futility fallacy. Insects are harmed when we harvest crops, so I might as well stab a pig in the neck. I might accidentally stand on an ant when I walk outside, so let's nuke the whole planet. Basic level, carnist, nonsensical justification.
The healthier I am, the better I am to help Earth and the planet and to contribute. So just focusing on that for a minute, while still believing I'm ethical and environmental.
Your beliefs don't make things so, your actions do.
I looked around as someone that people pointed to, but there's this vegan athlete. And to me, an athlete, every human is an athlete, but the athletic potential is just an extension of your health. It's an extension of health when you're able to perform athletically. And I was the guy that people pointed to, and I'm at the top looking around going, well, I'm not that healthy, and who else is really here?
Who else is really here? There's no other vegan athletes as great as me. Little bit arrogant, don't you think? Here's that problematic ego creeping in. You are going to get a lot of animals hurt if you can't find it in your heart to rein it in. And just for anyone else watching who doesn't know any better, there are a plethora of awesome vegan athletes. There'll be a film coming out any time now, The Game Changers, showing how a vegan diet is not just viable for athletes, it is in fact optimal, and our ranks grow day by day.
And I know that's a shock, and I know that pulled a massive plug within a movement, and that everyone wants to use me as the scapegoat, blame me, and not that the diet didn't work for me. It's easier that way for a lot of people, rather than face a potential reality that it didn't work for me.
Well, not being funny, but I only know of one other person in real life who couldn't make veganism work. He didn't want to follow Goji Man's advice either, or I'm guessing that probably would have been a different case. The hundreds of other people I know are doing just fine.
I'd moved on. I was not, didn't have faith in it. Didn't seem natural, seemed too complex.
Yes, it is very unnatural and complex. Here's the treatment that Goji Man prescribed me to treat my SIBO. This is a berry extract. This is natural, uncomplicated water. Now I have to take another thing. This is an extract from garlic. Complex though.
It's not why I didn't do it. I've done those things many times, herbal cleanses and stuff.
Shame you couldn't do it one last time with purpose.
But I realised health doesn't have to be complicated. There's a simple solution based within living in reality.
If you've got mad inflammation going on in the intestinal tract, simply throw in loads of pro-inflammatory animal flesh. You know, the top driver of death and disease.
But I've allowed myself, I've got out of my head, out of my ego, and tried to feel my way with my body.
Or maybe you've gone in your ego, trying to do it all yourself and damaging your body along the way, instead of seeking professional help.
It's too sharp with the veganism, too harsh, too limiting.
Well, I don't feel like veganism was limiting me, and I don't really feel like it's that sharp. I've certainly never cut myself on it.
To my own detriment, and potentially even the detriment of the earth and other people that listen to me and everything. So I feel under farmers around.
The detriment of other people? Well, heart disease kills every other Westerner, so no. The earth? Come on, not even you can make that stretch. And the farmers? Who are you going to campaign for next? Slave owners, please stop these mad mental gymnastics just so you can feel okay about eating animals.
A responsibility in a way to balance it.
How are we going to do that, Tim? Are we going to try and just get 30 billion farmed animals and 1.35 trillion sea creatures slain each year?
To, these farmers that have been angry at for years, that are just doing their best and may actually be the best way forward, I don't know.
What the are you talking about now?
Anyway, we'll leave it there. I love you all. Big up Goji Man for your service. You're doing what you think is best. And for anyone that you've helped or able to help in the future, do your thing. For me,
I'm too arrogant to give it a try for 6 weeks, so animals have got to die.
see you all on the other side. Godspeed.
And closing with a headbutt. Seems metaphorical of the way Tim feels about everything now. The world.
We all feel guilty to see an animal die. If I grabbed a pigeon in the street in London, ripped its neck off, started eating it, no one's going to go, oh, but we're just animals. People go, that guy's crazy. No one would go, oh, but we're animals, we're meant to do it. They go, that guy's psycho, there's something wrong with him. And they'd be right to do it because we're not meant to eat animals. Ain't like that, we're herbivores, whatever, all the physiology's there, all the science is there, everything, but most importantly, our feeling of kindness towards animals is there. It's time to end it.